The Earth is fucked. You can hardly feed yourself. Famine has spread across the planet along with war and rising heat from climate change. It's time to leave. Thankfully, humans have colonized most of the solar system, which has created an entire spaceflight industry, and all the way down at the bottom of the barrel of that industry are shipbreakers. And for a small fee of over $1 billion, you can be indebted to your new corporate saviors who will whisk you off into space to do deadly labor in a zero-G environment, disassembling and scrapping spaceships, thus saving you from the perils of Earth. This is Eli with Rage Review, and this is the review of Hardspace Shipbreaker. So, what exactly is this game? It's really simple. It's a spacewalking simulator combined with a spaceship scrapping sim, and it has a little story wedged in there as well. And your sole job is to properly disassemble spaceships and put their materials in the right bins. That's it. It's really that simple. Other than the different power supplies that can explode and send you flailing into outer space, or the different pressurized cabins and spaces that need to be identified and depressurized in a controlled way, which is much more difficult than it sounds. So now that you know what Shipbreaker is, let's talk about the best part of the game, the scrapping of the ships. Once you find entry into the ship, you can use your laser cutter to melt these little tabby-like yellow connectors that hold the ship and other pieces together. Then you can switch to your grapple gun and either push pieces around or pull them with the tether. And probably the most satisfying part of the game is breaking off huge chunks of the ship and watching them get pulled into the furnace by tethers, or pulling pieces towards you, then one-timing them into the bin. It sounds so simple and boring, but there's something about methodically taking apart ships. They look rather simple from the outside, but using your scanner, you can get a better look into the ship before going in. And with this scanner, you can formulate your plan, especially when it comes to pressurized areas marked in green, which, as I said in the intro, dealing with power sources and pressure can kill you at any second. And that's why death is no issue when you're working for the Lynx Corporation. As part of your $1 billion debt, you are cloned so that when you inevitably die on the job, you'll have a spare clone waiting for you so that you don't miss a single minute of work, at a price of course. And that's about it for gameplay. It's really that simple, yet not simple at all. And the more you play, the faster you'll be able to tear apart ships. Also, the controls take a while to get used to, but thankfully the devs put in a brake, so whenever you feel like you're losing control, you can just tap on the brakes. But once you get the controls down and everything starts to click, the game becomes this amazingly relaxing experience. It's even better when you pop in a podcast or some music. Speaking of music, the music in this game is actually really nice. Lots of country guitar, but it strangely feels right at home in this game. Also, Shipbreaker has a really nice little story that keeps the game moving, and it's all about the Lynx Corporation, who are your overlords and demand loyalty and hard work. Throughout the game, the corporate scum storyline is quite heavy, and I love it. Who doesn't love hating on giant mega corporations?
Until then, remember, the company is your family. The union is your enemy. Thank you.
Every morning when you wake up, your AI gives you corporate words of encouragement that are quite hilarious, and there's also a pro-union side of the story.
Hello, Shipbreaker 9346-52. Lynx would like to share the following inspirational message. Make the most of your shift by fanning the tiny sparks of effort into flames of profitability.
That being said, the story isn't a big part of the game. It just gives the game much needed structure and a reason to scrap ships. I'm not going to get much into the story because there really isn't much there, and that's not to say what is there isn't good. It's just the game is about scrapping ships and paying off that insane debt you incurred. It's really just as simple as that. Let's quickly talk about the graphics. They're great. Out of the box, the settings were low, so I was a little underwhelmed, but once I upped the settings, I quickly realized that this game is actually a very pretty game. It's also a small game, so it should look pretty at the very least, but what it does very well, both graphically and performance of the game. So Shipbreaker, it really is its own little unique game. It's got great music, great gameplay, and a great little story, great graphics, and it's on PC Gamepass. There really isn't much more to say about the game, to be honest. It's a really simple yet highly addictive game that keeps me interested and is almost therapeutic at times. Combined with a podcast or music of your own, this game just becomes a decompression session after work. I could not recommend it more. That's it for the review, guys. I hope you got something out of this review, and if you did, please push that little like button and subscribe if you'd like. This has been Eli with Rage Review. Take care, guys.